My name is Haley, and I'm a Colorado State University undergraduate student in the History Department, interning with the CSU Extension Office. Today, I'm interviewing Colt, who is a part of the 2020 Meeker Mustang Makeover. To start, I just have a couple of background questions. What is your profession, and what is your experience with horses?
Well, my profession is training horses. We do a lot of colt starting and just getting horses tuned up from other people. And I started, I guess my background with horses has pretty much been forever. My dad, as I was growing up, he was training horses professionally. So it's something I've always been around, kind of just always been involved in, whether I wanted to be or not. So.
Awesome. So kind of going off of that, what work have you done with horses in the past, and have you ever competed?
I have never competed through like a training sense. I started working with horses in a training capacity when I was 13. I stepped in the round pen with Dad, and he started kind of showing me the ropes and how things went. And pretty much since then, whether I was in school or doing something in the summertime, I always had one or two horses at least that we'd work with. Sometimes a lot more than that, but usually at least a couple. And it's just, since I was 13, it's something that I've kind of done on and off. And these last few years, it's been more on than off.
Awesome. That's awesome. Describe an experience you've had with horses where you've been particularly successful and proud of the work you've accomplished.
I was really proud of a horse that I had. It would have been about 3 years ago now. This lady that my dad used to train for got in contact with my dad because she had a horse that had been through 3 or 4 trainers, and it was really bucking them off, and they were having some troubles with it. And the reason that she called my dad is because in the day, he was the one that kind of dealt with those bad horses, the ones that bucked or were a little bit scary. And he told her, well, I don't really ride the bad ones, but my son does anymore. So she sent that horse to us. It was this little Arabian horse. What they were bred for was endurance races. And this horse, it had an attitude. It was pretty spoiled. And it wanted to buck. It wanted to kind of be mean. But I took it, and after it really only had one big fight with me, it tried to buck me off. And then once we got through that, me and that horse got along really well, and we were able to move forward. I ended up, for this lady, I rode into endurance races with her. And the first one that we rode in, we ended up winning the best conditioned and best of breed awards. So it was something, taking this horse that had been a real issue, and then we ended up being successful with it. And to this day, they're still riding it and being very successful. So, it feels like when you do something that lasts like that, it means a lot.
Oh, definitely. That's wonderful. That's working with horses. How have they impacted your life, and what have you learned from them?
Oh man, I don't even know if I could start, when we were little kids, all we did was ride horses. It's what we did for fun. Sometimes we did it and we were working, but we didn't actually know we were working. It was, you can learn a lot from a horse. You learn, I guess one of the things I've learned from horses, probably more than anything, is horses and people just aren't that different. If you treat people like you treat horses, things usually work out. If you're, you just got to read people the same way. Bad horses aren't always that bad. Bad people usually aren't always that bad. And sometimes there is that outlier, that just is a bad egg for sure. But, you got to learn to just give everybody a chance for sure.
Definitely. I like that. So what are your future goals with horses?
I'm not sure. Like I said, it's just kind of been something that was always there. I would like to continue just starting colts and working horses and make that be something that I can turn into a full-time job, something that I can do to make my living.
Great.
If I could do that and avoid having a real in-town job, more the better.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So now I'll move into some questions more directed towards the Meeker Mustang Makeover. So first of all, why did you decide to join the Meeker Mustang Makeover?
Well, I decided to get in there because my dad kind of talked me into it. He was involved with it last year. And, I helped with his horse last year a little bit. And he still is, I guess. He believes in what's going on, the purpose behind the Meeker Mustang Makeover. And he thought it was a good way to, learn something and gain some exposure at the same time. So he kind of talked me into it, and I filled out the paperwork, and here we are.
Awesome. So what's been your favorite part of training a Mustang so far?
Well, it's just trying to learn them. They're different. This horse that I have was gathered in February, so she hasn't been, out of the wild all that long. So a lot of the ways that she reacts are different than the ways that just, a regular pen-raised horse is going to act. Because for, the vast majority of her life up to this point, it's been live to survive. So she's very reactive, she's nervous about things. And just learning how to break that down and connect with her, that's been the best part so far.
That's great. So what challenges have you come across and how are you handling them?
Well, like I just said, one of her main challenge, she's kind of been a challenge from the start, because the day we went to pick her up, she had a foal that obviously none of us were expecting. So my dad and sister are also a part of this. So we ended up leaving her in Meeker overnight because we didn't want her in a trailer full of other horses and getting that foal run over or something. And unfortunately, when we went to pick her up that next day, the foal had already died. So that was rough right off. But she's very reactive, like I said. She's slow to trust you. She's not a horse that just wants to be your buddy right off the bat. It's taken some time to get her to where she kind of wants to trust you. But the good thing is she's reactive, but she learns. She's very smart. She picks up on things pretty quick. So once you kind of get her moving in a direction, she goes pretty easy. But sometimes it's baby steps, really, really baby steps to get her moving there in the beginning.
Definitely. So what elements do you think are important to consider with regards to wild horses?
I think it's important to consider that, you got to realize that they are not regular horses, and you've got to move. You got to keep them moving forward, but sometimes you've got to slow down the pace that you're used to. I'm not used to a whole bunch of groundwork on horses. That's just not the way that I've done it in the past. But this horse, I got to move at her pace. You got to understand that they're learning a lot of things. They're learning that you're not really out there to hurt them, that you're there to, help them learn something. And they may not move at the speed that you want them to, but give them a time, let them learn at their pace, and they'll step up. They'll be where you want them to be.
Definitely. Well, those are all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
Oh, I don't think so, not off the top of my head anyway.
Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me, and good luck with the rest of your training, and I look forward to seeing the results in September.
Thank you.